This is THV 11 News at 6.
Today kicked off early voting here in the Natural State. Thank you for joining us tonight at 6. I'm Brooke Buckner. Dozens of primaries to help set up the races this November. The Secretary of State's office says just a fraction of the state's voters will turn out for these primaries. Only 20 to 25% of the state's 1.8 million voters will make their voices heard, and that's total, not just early voting. That's just 350,000 total votes to decide the people who represent you at the state capitol and in D.C. And your vote could count 4 to 5 times more than if the whole state was voting. All week we've been helping to make sure you're as educated as possible heading to the polls. One of the most powerful roles in Washington up for grabs this year, a spot in the United States Senate. THV 11's Journey Taylor takes a closer look at the race, the history behind the seat, and the message each candidate wants voters to hear.
The United States Senate is one of 2 chambers of Congress, with each state electing 2 senators to serve 6-year terms. Senators write and vote on federal laws, confirm Supreme Court justices and cabinet members, ratify treaties, and provide oversight of the executive branch. Arkansas's current junior senator Tom Cotton was first elected to the seat in 2014 after serving in the U.S. House. He won re-election in 2020 and has now spent more than a decade representing Arkansas and Washington. And as voters prepare to head to the polls, we've asked each candidate the same question. Ahead of the primaries, what message are you trying to get out? The incumbent in this race, Senator Tom Cotton, said in a statement that he's worked with President Trump to deliver for Arkansas's conservative values and led the fight against what he calls Biden's radical agenda that hurts Arkansans. He continued by saying, quote, "Arkansans deserve a trusted conservative who delivers, not just talks. I'm proud to have President Trump's endorsement, but the most important endorsement is from Arkansans," end quote. 6th-generation farmer and Democratic candidate Hallie Schaffner spoke with us in person, framing her campaign around economic struggle in everyday Arkansans.
I believe that to fight for Arkansas, you have to know what it's like to live here right now, and I do. Tom Cotton is a resident of Virginia. And when he comes home, which is rare, I mean, he talks to us like he doesn't like us all that much, that he thinks we're stupid. Oh, Arkansans are struggling. They're waking up in the morning, they're worried about whether or not they can afford their food, or if their job will be there tomorrow. And really what it's about is getting back to the basics for the people of Arkansas and having someone who understands these struggles, fighting for them every single day in the U.S. Senate.
Democratic candidate Ethan Dunbar, a 34-year military veteran and current 2-term mayor of Louisville, says his campaign centers on cost of living and leadership experience.
Look at our inflation, our cost of living, and how it's affecting our checkbooks now. And who do we think is the best candidate to go in and fight for us? As a leader in a community in rural Arkansas, I understand that there are challenges there. And you know, we need help. We need help to be able to help people just make it from day to day and live well. And with the cost of, you know, health care being out of the roof, a lot of them can't afford it. Our public schools are being underfunded. So I think I'm the best candidate because I understand that. I live it every day.
The race also includes 7th-generation Arkansan and state trooper Republican Jeb Little. In a statement, he said, quote, "I am focused on restoring accountability and principled leadership in Washington, starting with the full, unredacted release of the Epstein files to ensure justice for victims and maximum accountability for the VAL people involved, no matter how wealthy and connected they are," end quote. Little also said he's against career politicians and wishes to see term limits for leaders in D.C. And our team reached out to Pastor Micah Ashby's campaign and did not receive a response by our deadline. For THV 11 News, I'm Journey Taylor.
Journey, thank you. All week long, we've been looking at some of the biggest races this election season. Tomorrow, a look at the challengers to Sarah Huckabee Sanders, hoping to become governor. You can find all of our Election Central recaps on thv11.com.
Started today off with low clouds and fog, ended up with some sunshine and this gorgeous sunset outside. As we look westbound, you can see the traffic there on I-630. Yeah, the clouds broke up a bit today. They'll be back in store for us tonight. Here's what the numbers look like. If you have any plans out and about, it's been a fairly mild day for about the southwestern half of the state. This is the area that picked up the sun. Northeast Arkansas, Jonesboro 59, 57 currently Mountain Home. Down in Monticello, it is 63. Warmer air is going to arrive tomorrow. We'll have to fight back the clouds from time to time. Here's the hour by hour for the rest of the night. We'll see those temperatures kind of hover in the upper 50s by tomorrow morning. 74 is your expected high. The breeze will be up a little bit, and even on Thursday, there'll be a front. The front will come in and drop temperatures. Then a couple of systems coming behind that front, one Friday, one Saturday with rain chances. Not big chances of rain, but I'll have your forecast. Plus, we'll take a look at the Mardi Gras parade forecast here in Little Rock in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Tom. In court today, convicted rapist and murderer Grant Hardin pleaded guilty to his prison escape last year. His escape last May led to a weeks-long manhunt before he was found less than 2 miles away from the prison he escaped from in Calico Rock. He was sentenced to 13 years in prison for the escape. Hardin was already serving a 30-year sentence for murdering 59-year-old James Appleton and a 50-year sentence for 2 counts of rape. The partial government shutdown over funding for the Department of Homeland Security that began over the weekend still has no end in sight. But negotiations are taking place between the White House and Senate Democrats. Immigration enforcement is at the center of the shutdown, but a pipe collapse sending millions of gallons of wastewater into the Potomac River is adding some urgency. President Trump says the federal government will need to step in, and FEMA, which is a part of the Department of Homeland Security, will play a role in the response.
We were a little cautious about coming out here today, knowing that there was a spill, and worried about what that impact would be to people down here.
So far, the shutdown is not impacting most Americans. TSA agents are still showing up for work despite the looming threat that they will soon miss a paycheck. A controversial piece of technology is back in front of the Little Rock board. ShotSpotter microphones detect gunfire near where they're deployed. The Little Rock Police Department has been using the technology since 2018. Catherine Rowley is listening to the arguments happening now by the board.
Well, ShotSpotter has been in the city of Little Rock and it's been used since 2018. It's a technology that is used to combat crime by detecting gunshots. It then uses its technology to determine how far that gunshot is and can pinpoint where the potential crime could have happened. Now, again, this has been used since 2018 in the city. Tonight, the board could potentially vote on a new contract that's just over $149,000. This time last year, the city voted to end that contract with ShotSpotter. That vote was later expunged and a revote was called. During that revote meeting, that's when a protest broke out during that board of directors meeting, and that contract then was eventually passed for another year. Again, tonight, the recommendation from city staff is to approve that contract for another year. That meeting is underway now, and we'll have more tonight at 10. In downtown Little Rock, Catherine Rowley, THV 11 News.
Thank you, Catherine. A new study by the Arkansas Health Survey revealed that almost 30% of adults across the state experience food insecurity. That includes people in both rural and urban areas. If the estimates from the survey are correct, that works out to about 680,000 people. That percentage is 10% higher than recent national reports, which already ranked Arkansas's food insecurity as worst in the nation. The survey uses the same methodology as a report discontinued by the USDA after the Trump administration called it redundant, costly, and politicized. Remembering Jesse Jackson after his passing earlier today, a look back at his life and how former city leaders here in Little Rock are remembering the Reverend.
Here is a sampling of numbers tomorrow. Look for highs in the middle to upper 70s, close to 80. Texarkana 77 there. Jonesboro cracks the 70s at 71, partly sunny skies. I'll have the rest of your forecast, including the next chance of rain, right after the break.
And here's a look at what's streaming tonight on the THV 11 Plus app. A couple episodes of the true crime series Murder at My Door. And then we'll be back with the news at 10 o'clock.